In this video, I'll show you how to create an assembly model. So I'll start a new, take you back to this screen. Make sure you're not on model. You must be on the assembly setup. This particular assembly isn't a millimeter part, so I'll leave it on millimeters. Okay, so you want to be on this assembly tab up here, and you'll see you have add components, and here's your constraint. So select the part. Excuse me. What you can do is go to the file, find out where you have your parts. Now, just like any other assembly models, always start with a part that's kind of a significant base part for the object. If you're going to insert more than one, you can put that in there. Unfortunately, this is a bit stripped down. Just click on that. This is a bit stripped down from the commercial version as far as your options, so you're a little bit limited on how to insert this, but that's fine. So there's our part. Again, that's our base part, and that's a fine orientation. Now it's going to put it relative to the origin. Say OK. And you can fix this, which is a really good idea, to fix that first part and then add the other parts to that. So then we'll go to Add Component. Select the parts. Oops. Let's see. Let's do the cap next. And now see where it is. It's right there. It's stuck inside the part. Let's do that again. What you can do is you can try moving your part. There we go. Like we can at least move it a little bit. And here you can shift it around. So that's not really, that's probably the best way we want to have it. Again, because we're kind of limited just because this is a student version. And that works. That's fine. Say OK. Let's go ahead and constrain it. But be careful because sometimes it'll put the parts in right inside of your first part. So now we'll go to Assembly Constraints. This is a pretty smart constraint tool. If you leave it on this touch align, it can usually figure out what you want. You don't really have to use these others, but if you want to force concentric, have a distance, if you want to fix something parallel, perpendicular angles, I rarely use those. You can just usually leave it on the touch align. So what we want to do is click on that surface, and apply it. And you'll see it'll put this little tag on there. I'll show you how you can look at those, and then I'll show you that it has a constraint between those surfaces. And then the top and the top, apply. Again, you see that little tag there, or the line that's connecting it, and the side to the side. Say OK, and that is constrained. So now we've been on the part navigator. We want to switch up to assembly navigator. You'll see what you have right now. So here's our two parts that we've added. If you click on that, you can see the constraints, and you can click on them, and you can see what you've done there. If you don't like a constraint, you can redefine it, or you can delete it. So it's not a problem if you accidentally click something the wrong way. It's easy to undo and redo it. Okay, let's add another part. So let's add the bolt. Now I actually need 4 of them. Let's see what it does here. I think it's going to put them on top of each other though, so I don't really want to do it. Let's just do 2 for now. I'm going to rotate those around though, so at least they're pointing in the right direction. And let's say okay, and let's just constrain those, and then we'll add the other ones. So when you have a cylindrical object, the best thing to do is use the center line by far. So if you move your cursor around, you'll see the center line gets highlighted, and likewise with the hole that it goes in. Don't click on the edge of the hole, click on that center and put it in it. Now, unfortunately, it put it inside the part, so let's cancel that. Let's try that again. I think the smarter move here might be to do that face there to that face and apply it. And now for the next one, we can do that center line. And you should be able to still rotate these. Now, this isn't as easy to do. You have to use this move component thing to rotate stuff. But you'll find out as soon as you start moving your model around if that part's not, that component's not fully constrained. But I don't care about the bolt head. And those are kind of big bolt heads, but let's just go with it. Let's constrain this other bolt. And again, I'm just leaving it on the touch align. Click on the back of there, front of there, apply, and then we'll do center. Bring this back over here. Center. Okay. And I'll do the same with my other bolts. Okay, so I've got all 4 bolts on there. Let's add some more parts. I've got this pin that goes in the top. Let's put that in. Oops, no, see, I accidentally left it on 2. Just click it down to 1. And let's rotate this. I always try to get my parts in a position that's closer to the final position. But that's okay, because I'll show you. That's kind of a cool feature that'll help you with that. So let's just say okay with that. So now if you go up here to move component, you have to select the component. So if I select that component and you want to specify the orientation, you'll get this handle. It's called a handle, and it's very cool because if you click on it, you can move the part around really easily. And you can, for example, I want to rotate this like that. Oops, that stupid thing's in the way. Let's just go with that. All right, so that's close to the orientation, at least I just have to constrain it. So assembly constraints. So again, what I'll do is that bottom surface there, top surface there, apply, and I'll do center line to center line. And I got that in place. And I have something else to add to this. I have this washer. So, okay, again, move component, select the component, and say specify orientation. And then I can use this to rotate it around, and I can move it, get it closer to where it needs to be. It makes constraining it so much easier if you're in the ballpark with those things. Okay, let's assemble that. Let's do bottom to there, and we'll do center to center, and done. Now notice I use touch align the entire time. So there is my fully assembled part. Okay, so let's save that. Now make sure your components, so each of your models and your assembly are in the same folder. They have to be, right? So let's see. And now we want to create a drawing. So go to application, drafting. We still use an A3 size, say okay, and then I'm just going to close these because I'll use my view creation wizard. So remember with an assembly, typically what we'll do is just use a single isometric view, and I'm not going to do an exploded assembly on this one. View creation wizard, make sure you have the right one chosen. You're going to leave your hidden lines off for a change. And now choose the view you want. And actually, that's a really good view. And I'm not going to show multi-views. So if it defaults to this, just turn these off. And that looks pretty good. If I don't like the scale, I can come over here and change this scale, but I'm pretty happy with that scale. It looks fine because I am going to have to put a balloons and a parts list on here. Now, unfortunately, again, because this is a student version, they've stripped it down. It doesn't have the auto balloon function, so it's a little bit clunky, but I'll show you.